Hello guys and welcome here to the 7-Eleven IndyCar Series qualifying session here today for the Indianapolis 500, which will take place a week from today. I'm Brian James here in the booth with you. Of course, this kicks off kind of a busy afternoon for these guys. They will qualify now. It is 12:30 Eastern. They'll qualify now. And of course, as you take a look at the slate of things for today, of course, positions 10 through 33 will be determined in this session, and then positions 1 through 9 will be determined in a later session at 4 p.m. Eastern. I should be there for that premiere. So, as you see the cars rolling out, the big thing to keep in mind, if you get involved in a crash, your time is disallowed. That's the number one thing to keep in mind. And of course, the top 9 in this session, as mentioned, will advance to the Fast 9 in just a little while. As you see the 81 going around the track. There's Daniel Bouchard. He is one of our full-time entries. His warm-up lap was a 168. And look at him down the backstretch getting some speed. And we'll see how this lap turns out. Of course, this is a 20-minute session. There will be a 10-minute session later, or 15-minute session, I believe, later. That'll determine the top 9 positions. And you see there, he's in third. At this point, Quentin Moore, keep in mind he's one of your one-off guys for Ed Carpenter Racing, driving that 47 U.S. Air Force paint scheme. And he's working there with Zach Fitzwater in the 60. He won't make his move, though. But the draft may pay dividends here for some of these guys. And we'll see how this works out for Quentin Moore. And keep in mind, all your one-off drivers, all your one-race contract drivers, can be easily indicated by that R next to their name. Because obviously this is season number 1 and there are no rookies in the field. Zach Fitzwater, he's 7th. Quentin Moore in 8th. Let's take a look at the full list. 26 cars have turned a time in this session. The 18, your Barber winner, Skylar Martins, he is currently the fastest in the session with a 2:14.276. That may be hard to beat. And someone just went to second, and it was the 67 of Mitch Hickle, one of the one-off drivers for Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. As we got a new fastest now, Nathan Faden in the 26. And he's working up there with Nikolai Sykes, the number 4. He's the winner on the road course the other day. So some good momentum entering here today. See the 32 up there as well. That's Keith Stevens, one of your Cup guys. And he's running down here in IndyCar today. Driving for Juncos Racing, who has an affiliation with the Team Penske stable. Also up ahead is the 66 of Tim Randolph for Arrow McLaren Schmidt Peterson, driving that number 66. Of course, again, everyone with an R next to their name is a first-time entry this season and is a one-contract driver, or one-race contract driver. Let's check in on some of the other ones we want to introduce you to. The number 30 of Tim Horton. He is driving for Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. And he's working there with that 5 of Joshua Osborne. course, Dylan Ibrahimian, he is driving the Team Penske Chevrolet. The 4th entry for them into the Indy 500. Keep in mind, nobody is getting bumped later, so it's only going to be a Fast 9 shootout. And where will Dylan Ibrahimian slot in? His lap time 2:14.608. That's up to 17th quick for him. Scrolling up, just being sure I didn't miss any one-race contract drivers, and I didn't. Of course, we've already talked about Quentin Moore. Let's talk about Dave James in the 45 for Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan with Citroen and Buell Racing. Don't say that 3 times fast. He is currently in 31st, and you see he's kind of just on his own right now. Unfortunately, that's never a good thing here at Indy. He is currently in the 30th position. Of course, we have talked about the 66 and the 67, so the only one left to talk about is that 51 of Jessica Ward, who is running for Dale Coyne Racing with Rick Ware Racing. Yes, you heard that right. And she's coming to the pit lane, but she is currently in P20. Decent session. Again, these one-race contract drivers are at kind of a disadvantage compared to the drivers who drive the full season, and even at a disadvantage to the oval-only drivers. Trying to see if anybody is staying out here and running some more laps, and there's one. It's the 14 of Dylan Young. ABC Supply is back on the car for AJ Foyt Racing. Of course, Dylan Young got a podium the other day. And he actually ran in the first Indy 500 here on GCN. He actually fared very well. He would sure love to up that to a win, but he's going to have some work to do. He's currently in 24th position. But if there's one thing about AJ Foyt Racing, they are no stranger to being out in front in an Indy 500. My apologies, guys. We got cut off. You see the 3 Trevor Collins rolling back out, and a heartbreak for him. Not too long ago, he was driving the other day in the Indy GP and just did not do well. He unfortunately led a lot of laps, but had to pit late. Didn't have enough to make it to the finish. A tough break for him. Let's look on back, see what we can find. There's the 7 of Daniel Gutierrez. He's got some work to do, or he will be starting in last in the Indy 500. Of course, keep in mind these oval-only drivers like Daniel Gutierrez and Tyler Faden, they've only run really 2 races all year compared to these road course-only drivers who have run 4 races to this point. This is only the 3rd oval of the season that'll be run. And of course, that'll be run next Sunday. Good news is everybody's keeping it clean thus far. Scott Upton to the top of the boards, 2:16.732, and he actually just got beat by that number 8. And look at this pack that is forming. Oh, you see the 12 kind of got him bent out of shape, but he is trying to get into this pack. And he's just not going to be able to get up to speed in time. But the number 8, who's actually in this small pack here, Alexander Rowe, is now the fastest at 2:17.051 miles per hour. No, he had to back out right there. He was right on the rear fender of Parker Smith. You see Jessica Ward leading this pack, and you got to imagine there's some nerves back here for the 3 series regulars because, of course, the rookie leading the pack, not much seat time before this, so you, of course, are always going to be nervous when that happens. And we'll see how much the drag impacts the 51 this lap. Can she run faster? 2:15.095, that is not enough to go into the top 9. Currently on that bubble is one of the one-race contract drivers, Keith Stevens, with a 2:15.771. He is currently on that bubble to make the Fast 9 later. He'd be in. So would Tim Randolph in the 66. There he is, currently running with the 3 of Trevor Collins. You had the Keith Stevens, Tim Randolph, James Qualls, Casey Naneko, Nathan Faden, Richie Hiroshi, Scott Upton, Parker Smith, and Alexander Rowe. That would be your Fast 9 right now. And keep in mind with the double points, it's really 2 points at stake here today for the pole. So these guys should keep that in the back of their heads right now that, hey, this is for 2 points toward the championship. Of course, one of these one-off drivers can steal those points. And we'll see if they can do just that. Look at this. The 32 is closing. That's Keith Stevens. And I'm shocked the 20 is not up here, because keep in mind, Ed Carpenter Racing is always very fast here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And just look at this. They're pitting. And we'll see. Can they make it clean? Looks like they do. And the 45 in this pack with Mike Austin, Tim Horton, and Daniel Bouchard. And maybe you want to be the last car down the straightaway, but you don't want to be in the turns, because if these guys have to lift for any reason, you're going to have to lift. You can see that 45 trying to find any bit of speed he can find. He runs that high line to try to finish the lap. He must feel like he's got a good lap going. He does not. 2:11.974. And maybe the track conditions are changing, and that's what's causing these lap times to slow down. Alexander Rowe is the fastest right now. The only one to hit the 2:17 mark. Another guy we want to check on, and he's actually just rolling back out right now, that is Ben Crouch in the number 10. Of course, he is the points leader entering Indianapolis, and that's a little bit of pressure. Of course, if we had more than 33 entries, he would be the guy that would be locked in on the points leading provisional. And he finished second at the Indy Road Course, I believe, so, and earned the GMR Indy Grand Prix. So quite a bit of momentum. Of course, he knows his way around Indy. The road course, we'll see if he knows his way around the oval. He's currently P15 though. And you see the 20 has slotted in. And that bumps James Qualls to the bubble. And right now that 10 is going to want to put the 24 on the outside looking in. Join his teammate Alexander Rowe. Currently he's the only Chip, well actually two of the Chip Ganassi cars are inside the Fast 9. If we had a breakdown of it, it's 2 Chip Ganassi cars at the moment, 2 ECR cars, what looks like 3 Andretti cars, and then of course you've got an AJ Foyt car and a Dreyer and Reinbold car. And look at the speed they're carrying down that straightaway, and of course they have to lift for that car that's slower up ahead. So it's going to ruin their laps. And that's Samet Ozkan. And Samet Ozkan currently in 24th. As up ahead is Tyler Faden, the slowest in the session. Of course, this is considered also a practice session since it is a group qualifying session. So that can help or hurt these guys. And here's the chance that Tyler Faden needs. He's leading this pack. And of course, this is his real chance now at the draft to try to lay down a fast time, faster than 209.825. Keep in mind, to get into the Fast 9, you have to beat a 215.853. Not an easy accomplishment. .420, and that keeps the 27 in third or 33rd. He's still a good mile or two off of the guys in front of him. Well, minus the 7 of Daniel Gutierrez. We'll see. He should get faster as these laps turn here. Just looking on down that list, there's going to be a lot of good guys hanging out at the back of the pack to start the race. And that's a shame. 2:13.468. That moves them up one position to 32nd. That doesn't help, really. Of course, you don't want to start at the back in the Indy 500. It is so hard to move your way up front. So this is for everything here. You see right there, Parker Smith trying to keep a little bit of distance, hopefully going to get some air to help him out to get to the top of the list, but of course it doesn't matter for him as much. And he's going to pit. I think he knows he's in. These two, Samet Ozkan, Tyler Faden, they know they're not in. So they need to make some lap times. And up to 30th goes Tyler Faden. Where is the 8? The 8 is rolling off the pit lane. The next fastest car is at 88. He's on the pit lane. What about the 20? So once the 20 crosses the line, the session will be over. And it's looking really good for these 9 to advance. And to the line. That'll end the session. So Alexander Rowe, Parker Smith, Scott Upton, Max Anderson, Richie Hiroshi, Austin Shaw, Nathan Faden, Casey Naneko, and James Qualls will all advance to the Fast 9 at 4 p.m. Eastern. They get a little break now, so I bet they're real happy. They get a chance to make any adjustments. No crashes, which is the best news of all this. But of course, for Tim Randolph, Quentin Moore, Keith Stevens, good runs for them. They get 10th, 11th, and 12th. Jessica Ward running in 15th. Ben Croucher, points leader, in 19th. Zach Fitzwater in 20th. A little concern for those two. As you look on down the rest of the list, of course, not a good day if you're Daniel Gutierrez, Dylan Young, Dave James, Tyler Faden. Man, you don't want to start at the back of the Indianapolis 500, but it looks like they will be doing so, unfortunately. And we want to thank you for watching qualifying here. We'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern today for the Fast 9 shootout, so you won't want to miss that. Until then, guys, goodbye, everyone.